Welcome guys, so in this video we are going to be doing a review on the app Pixellab. There are a lot of things we can do with our smartphone, and in this video we're going to be showing you amazing things we can do with this app Pixellab. I'm going to be doing a review about it first. When you open the app, the first thing you're going to see is this interface. This is the first interface you're going to see, and it has lots of default settings, default backgrounds, and there are lots you can make choices from. And this right here where it's written my project is where project that you have either completed or you have not completed and you want to go back to work on, or you have saved templates are going to be kept. And after that we'll go on to the next function, which is this, the text function. And the first thing from the left is the styles, and in it we have default styles that comes with the app already, and we can also save our styles, but I don't have anyone saved yet. So and after that we can edit our text. So let me write Pixellab so I can show as an example Pixellab, and we can also delete it just as simple as that. We can duplicate it, make it as many as possible. And the next function there is to send to the front or to the back. And there's also position where I can move my text from one place to the other. And after that we also have the relative position function where it can take it to the relative position using the signs here, to the middle, or anywhere in the design. The next function is the text size function, very easy to use, and is used to increase the size of your text. Next up is the padding, and this is used for some text that has little space around it that might make some of the letters hidden. So we use this to give space in around our text. So after that, next one is the color function where we can select different colors and put different colors in our text. Very easy to use. And after that is the texture. This is to add either a pattern texture or a photo texture on our text. You just click this here and select any picture from your gallery, and this will be done. Afterwards we have the opacity function where we can reduce the visibility of our text. It applies both to shapes also, and then we can rotate. This is used for rotating. And after that we also have the max tool. This is a very, very important tool. We can use it to do wonderful things to max our text, and we can make it in or out. And in my other videos I'm going to show us how we can be creative with these functions. And after that we have the fonts, the next one, font, and in this we have already saved fonts from the app where we can make different choices. There are great fonts here actually that we can use, and we can also have our own downloaded fonts. There are a lot to select from. In my other video I will show us how to download and save fonts to Pixellab. So after that we also have the next function, which is the style. We can make our text bold or in italics or underlined. Now for this text it's already on italics and on bold, so it's not going to apply to it. Afterwards we have the letter curve tool where I can curve my letters or my text, and it's very, very simple to use. Just use the slider. Next up is the background text background function. This is very, very wonderful tool. You can edit it, increase the padding from left to right or from down to up, top to bottom, and that's just about it. Also, this is for text. Perhaps I have text in different lines, I can align them to the left or align them to the right, or make it justified, centralized. So there are lots of things we can do with this particular function too. And after that, we also have the spacing. This is used to give space between letters, as you can see here. It's used to give space between letters. Next up, let me make this. We can also increase the line spacing, just as I'm doing here. The space between lines with this particular function here. The next function here is the stroke function, and this is used to add stroke to our text. And you can change the colors to any one we like. We can increase the thickness of the stroke or the width. After that, we have the shadow effect. This can be used to add shadows. Perhaps you're doing a design and you want to add the shadow feel or the shadow concept to it. This is what we can use. You can reduce the brightness of the shadow or the opacity of the shadow. You can increase the radius, and so many things you can do. Next up is inner shadow, just the opposite of it. That one was outer shadow, and this is inner shadow. This is to give shadow inside the text. And we can also select the colors and do many things with it. Next is the emboss shape, and this now for Android 11 phones, your text might end up breaking up like this, and I'm using an Android 11 phone, so it's like this, but lower versions of Android or higher versions will not give this effect. It's going to be smooth, really embossed. So, but it can really work if you're using a better phone or lower Android version. The next is the perspective. This is used to give perspective to our text, just as I'm doing here, and you see this is how our text would look like. Very wonderful. And with this, I'll leave this one here. Let me increase the padding because my text here is already invisible. Yes, good. And after that, we also have the 3D rotate, where we can rotate our text in the y-axis in the 3D format or x-axis. And we can also give our text a 3D shape. And lastly, we have the reflection. And this one, just as it is said, no, not before that, we also have the 3D shadow, where we can add shadow to our text and increase the visibility or reduce it. And that's about it. And lastly, we have the text reflection, where, as you can see here, we can see a reflection of our text. So aside that, we also have the next function, which is the shape and also background. And these are very, very simple to use. Here is for the sticker, and here is to import images from your gallery. And we can select any image from our gallery with this function. Next up, we have the draw tool, where we can draw things just as I am doing here, and this can be very useful for our design work. We can also add shapes and edit them. We can also use this Bezier tool. It is used for creating curved shapes, and we are going to learn this in our next videos. Also, we have arrow tool, very simple to use. And that is that about the shape icon. There are lots of things we can do with them. Also, here's the background. Here we can edit our background images. In the gradient form we have already, you can create our gradients, and we have already made our gradients. We can use any of them or solid colors like this. So there are lots of things we can do with it. Now, before we move further, let me remove the 3D setting on this text so we can move forward. So back to our background. We can create our own backgrounds using this plus icon here. We can select our colors and use the color spectrum and choose any color of our choice, just as I'm doing here. And I have a background already created. So, and that's it about it. We can also make our background text. Perhaps you're creating a logo and you want it to be transparent or in PNG format. You can make the background transparent. We can edit the image size with this function here. We can also crop and make our background an image. There are other images here we can use, and we can select from our gallery. We can also use from camera. And lastly, we have the rotate and vintage effect. We can select colors of vintage and we can increase the alpha of it. Also, we can add noise. These are very wonderful tools we can use in this Pixellab. And also stripes, just as I'm doing here. And we can increase the brightness of our overall design with this one, and also the contrast and hue and saturation. And when we're done with our designs, we can use this icon here to save either as a project or save as an image. We can also share to any platform, Facebook, Twitter, Google, or whatsoever. We can save in PNG format. We can increase the quality to ultra. We can also make use of grid lines. We can zoom with this function here. And that's just about it. So now let me quickly make something that is meaningful so we can make use of it. So I'll remove the stripe. And I'm going to change the text color to maybe black. I'll remove the grid lines. And this is just a mini design. And so there are lots of things we can do with Pixellab. And this is just an overview. Thank you for watching.